everyone. How are you guys doing tonight? I posted earlier that I wanted to do a Facebook Live again because it's Friday, and when I'm not doing a event like a class here at my house, if we're not doing a bingo event, if we're not doing something different, then if I can, I like to do a Facebook Live. So hello, Mary. Hi, Sharon. I think I saw Chris on there before when I was distracted. So thank you guys for joining me. Good to see you guys. I hope you had a good Friday. We had some nice sun. Oh, Randy's watching too. Hello. Thank you guys. I'll get to watch a few people join on here for a few minutes and show you my project for tonight. Let me get rid of this message there. There we go. There. Sorry, I made that move along, but somebody was sending me messages and it was in the way of me seeing who's joining us. So, hi Nancy. Thanks for joining me tonight. Oh, well, running around like always. I imagine you guys are too. Some of you work today and some of you might not have. Hi Debbie. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. Let me have a sip of my coffee here. I just made a K-cup. Hi Kathy. Hello. Cinnabon something. Anyway, it's pretty tasty. I didn't put any of my, what's the stuff that I drink? Bailey's. I did not put any Bailey's in it tonight. That one night I had Bailey's in my coffee, and then my wonderful Polymer Princess team for my birthday gave me some small Bailey bottles to use in my coffee. So yes, I do like Bailey's in coffee once in a while as a special little treat, but tonight it's just plain Cinnabon coffee. So, and a lot of people that I know, my friends, say they can't drink coffee in the evening because it keeps them up, but I drink it every evening. Of course, I am a night owl, so maybe there's a correlation there that I should consider, but I like being able to stay up and get things done. So anyway, thank you for joining me tonight, guys. I appreciate the ones that watch and say hello. Oh, hi Pauline from California. Thanks for joining us tonight. Here in Nebraska, I think most of the ones I've seen log on so far are here in Nebraska, but it's nice to have somebody from California join us. Nice and warm and lovely California. Although today wasn't too bad here. I mean, it was cold, but we had some sunshine and that was much appreciated. I think the weekend is going to be not so nice though, so we'll all have to stay put probably if the weather gets too bad. So anyway, tonight I'm going to show you a project using some of the Oso Ombre paper. So in just a second I'll turn the camera down and show you. But the Oso Ombre paper is one of the things you can earn for free during Celebration. And Celebration is for January and February. And so it will draw to a close. February 28th will be the end of Celebration for this time. So if you like this Oso Ombre paper that I'm going to show you tonight, you'll have to get it before the end of February. And the way you get it is you earn it by placing orders. Orders of $50 increments earn you free items from the Celebration catalog. And a lot of you guys that are on here tonight are on my team, so you already know all about this, and you have a lot of these products. So that was one of the reasons for me to show a card using the Oso Ombre papers. I thought it gives you an idea of something else you can do with it. But this is the Celebration catalog, and there are many things in it, and you can earn different level 1 items with your orders in increments of $50, as I said. That's before tax and shipping. So place a $100 order, you can get 2 level 1 things, or you can get a level 2 item, which is a step up, and it's a really nice item. And I might show you one of the level 2 things later, I don't know. But anyway, I'll turn it down so we can get going. Turn my camera down, that is, I should say. So bear with me, close your eyes if this kind of thing makes you dizzy. I'm going to take this, turn it this way, and get you in my holder like I always do. Hope that I get it angled easily enough for you to see what I'm doing without there. You know what? That's not too awful bad. I'll have to remember that up here. Okay, let me turn my light on. And Let me look over here on my computer. I don't have it pulled up. There we go. Let me see. There, I can see the camera there. I can see what you guys can see. That makes life easier for me. And in fact, I'll make it larger so I can really see. And mute it. Okay, there we go. So, let me show you what I'm doing tonight, first of all. I'm doing this Oso Ombre card, I'm calling it. It's, and you can, I've done this with a heart and kind of a love theme, but I'm going to talk to you about how you can change this up and do different things with it. It doesn't have to be heart, it does not have to be love, but I love the kind of a monochromatic look with the ombre going on. Anyway, I'll show you how to do it. But tonight I'm going to do it in Rococo Rose instead of this one. This is Bermuda Bay, and one of my favorite colors in Stampin' Up. Anyway, in the pack of Oso Ombre paper, those on my team know that I showed them some different cards we could do with it at our last team meeting. But this pack of paper comes in 4 colors. Rococo Rose, as you see here, Bermuda Bay, and then Blackberry Bliss, which is a beautiful purpley color, and then Granny Apple Green, which is really pretty and bright and springy. So those are the 4 colors represented in this pack. As you can see, there's ombre paper, and then this paper with these kind of bubbly looks. Here's the sheet of the ombre paper. This is the Blackberry Bliss, but you can see the ombre look. And so I've used a sheet tonight to get this aspect of these stripes behind the card that's using that ombre paper, and you can see that gradation of color, or gradient of color. So anyway, I'll show you how to do it. One of the things I'm going to show you tonight, I don't know if all of you have ever used it or seen it. I don't think it's a thing that's commonly used, but it is our Whisper White ink pad. And I'm going to use that tonight and talk a little bit about how you store it, how you use it, and the look you can get from it. I figured I've never shown that. I don't even think I've done this in a class with people, and I know for sure I haven't done it on a Facebook Live, so I thought tonight would be a good night to pull that out. So I'll talk about that when we get to it. The stamp set I'm using tonight is the Heartfelt stamp set. This was a new stamp set that was introduced last year during this time frame, during the mini catalog that was from January to June last year. Obviously it was Valentine or love inspired, and it was popular, so they carried it over, and it's been with us all year, and it's still with us. And so if you like this, I used this sentiment on a project recently with the chocolates that I did. Oh gosh, that's right, I forgot to draw the winner for last week's Facebook Live. Well, when we're done here tonight, I will draw the winner from last week's so that I can get that item to you. And Debbie, depending on the weather, I was going to drop your items off to you possibly this weekend, because I don't want you to wait any longer for yours. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. That reminds me, though, of course, if you like and share my video, I would super appreciate that. I would like to reach out to more people if I can, because I love what I do, and I think most of my friends that have joined my team or come to my classes or come to my events, I think they love it too. And so the more we reach, the more fun we can have, and the more we can do this kind of thing together. I'd like to keep going with this business as long as I get out of the red and get into the black. So reaching out to more people really helps me. So like and share, and then on the comments, write on there shared, so that I know to check and that you shared, and then I'll enter you for a giveaway. And the giveaway will be your choice of either Rococo Rose or the Bermuda Bay card. After I'm done with making it and draw, you can choose which one you like best, and I'll get it in the post to you. And the one that you don't like, then I'll use for my dear hubby for Valentine's Day next week. But let's see, anyway, I was saying the Heartfelt set carried over. I'm using that tonight. If there is a punch set that you can use with the Heartfelt set, it's coordinating punch. I know the mirror finish on these always glares, so I'm sorry if this glares, but this punch set is a 2-punch set. They go with the hearts on here, and there's a regular heart and then a scallop heart that layers behind it really well. So you'll see me use those tonight. The other thing I'm going to use is another punch. I love punches. I know a lot of my demonstrator friends, my crafty friends, we all like punches because they're so quick and easy to use. and they store so nicely in your craft room. But I'm going to use the tailored tag punch, and it's got this unique shape. I'm using it to do the fishtail on here. You can certainly do that by hand, but since I already have this tailored tag punch and I use it, example is right here. I've used it on a birthday sentiment for a card. Since I already have this tag punch, I'll show you how you can use it to do the fishtail in, or the tag in. So those are the products I'm using tonight. And so I'll get started. So, as I said, this is a Bermuda Bay card, and here's the inside. I've also stamped on the inside with Bermuda Bay ink to make it really pretty. Stampin' Up! Is known for their color coordination. That's our big thing. That and our dimensionals. Our dimensionals are wonderful. But, you know, my cardstock, my ribbon, my ink, everything coordinates so well. My DSP. And I have literally tubs and tubs of pattern paper that I've bought over the years, back when I started out scrapbooking and stuff, and it never gets used because I can't pull things together and get them to coordinate well. And so that's why, one of the reasons why I signed up with Stampin' Up! Quite a long time ago, is because it kind of makes pulling things together and choosing things more seamless. Speaking of that, this is the best time all year long to become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And you do not have to even be a demonstrator. You can be what we call a hobbyist by purchasing the starter kit. You save a lot of money. You get some wonderful products right now, and you can be a part of my team, and you don't ever have to sell to anybody. You don't ever have to do Facebook Lives like I'm doing right now. You don't have to do anything but enjoy Stampin' Up! Products and get them at a reduced rate because of the commission you save. Anyway, I'll do some event where I talk about that maybe next week or this coming week. But if you have at all a big wish list with Stampin' Up! Products, you would be the smartest person around if you just bought the starter kit, where there is absolutely no obligation, but you save a bunch of money, and right now you get a bunch of wonderful paper for free. Anyway, enough about that, but the coordination is what I wanted to talk about, and so we're going to get going. Oh, and I even put a little heart on the card. So there we go. We're going to make that. I wanted to show you this other trick. I think this is a worthwhile thing. If you get nothing else from my Facebook Live tonight, I find this really useful. Back in the day, I'm going to put these back together real quick. When I design cards, and I did design this card myself, you know, sometimes you're kind of stumped and you see something and you see a sketch. I did follow a sketch pattern. I saw a sketch with a design that was somewhat like it, but I had to figure out how I wanted to do it, what products I wanted to use. I already talked about how things go together well, and that helps me. But then I had to decide, you know, what sizes did I want some of these things on my layout to be. So I pulled out these templates I made quite a long time ago. I cut alternating colors of cardstock, and I marked them in our common sizes. Our cards are usually A2 size, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So then what I did is I cut layers that go down in increments of 1/4 inches. So 5 1/4 by 4, and then 5 by 3 3/4, and so on and so on. Oh, this one's out of order, sorry. So on and so forth. I went down increments all the way down. So then what I do, and I'll show you with this one, is I'll start with a card base. This is that Rococo Rose, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So I'll start with that. And I use my bone folder to get a nice crease on it so that it lays flat for me. Let me move these out of the way. I don't need these right now. I'll lose them and then I won't know where they are later. But so say I've got my card base and I'm thinking, you know, how big do I want my layers to be if I'm going to do layers? So I just start laying things out, and I look at this and I'm like, you know what? That's probably a bigger layer than I wanted. So then I went down one more size and I'm like, yeah, that gives me the kind of border around here I want. Now for my focal point, how big do I want that? So then I went with the next one. I'm like, no, that doesn't show enough of the piece behind. I knew I wanted to put these stripes of ombre paper back there. So I thought, no, that's not going to show enough. So I went down another size. And I thought, we're getting close. But see, that's still bigger. I decided that wasn't quite what I wanted. So then I went down one more. And I was like, bingo. That's going to show those stripes behind, just a peek of them through there. And then my DSP is here. Another good reason that I chose this one is the paper pack is 6x6 paper. Well, I want to get the best bang out of my buck, you know? And so with 6x6 paper, if I use a layer that is 3 inches wide, I've automatically been able to get more out of that paper. I can use that same sheet of paper for 2 cards. And guess what? If you look at this, now I'm going to give you the secret. It's the other part of this one. So this was a 6x6 sheet that I cut into 3 inches, and I'm getting a whole nother card out of it, out of a different color. And as Frenchie would say, voila, look at that. So that was how I chose my layer sizes, partially because of what the paper came in, and partially because of how much I wanted showing behind of my layers, okay? So that's just an idea. If you were ever working on designing cards and things, you can have something like this on your table and pull it out when you're making some. I do that with my stitched nested labels dies. I've got a whole slew of them so I can lay them out and see which way I want to do it. I've got them with circles. Oops, sorry, there went my cord. I've got the circle punches in the different size increments so I can lay them out and choose. I've done it with little strips. If I'm going to do like a border or a stripe, I've got them in all different sizes here. So that's just an idea. If you ever get stuck designing and sizing things up, having things like that handy on your craft desk can be helpful. So, okay. Back to what I was doing. Whoops, I wanted to put that one away too. Sorry. If I don't get things put away later, I won't know where they went, and I'll lose them. How many of you lose things on your craft desk? Goodness, I lose things all the time on my craft desk. And I'll be honest with you, when this card started out, I was going in this orientation. And then when I started laying my heart out and my banner piece, I was like, no, I'm going to turn it this way and go horizontally. So we've got a landscape card instead of a portrait card. And that's kind of how that came about. So Rococo Rose piece, as I said, here's my DSP. Oh, I shouldn't have put those away because maybe you want to write, well, I don't know that anybody's going to want to make these cards, but if you wanted to, there's the increment or the size for this piece. And here was the size. Oops, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yep. And that's the size for my white piece, which I've got cut right here. So if you see those, if you jot them down if you want them, otherwise you can always ask me later, or you can rewind the video and see or replay it. But that was the size of my layers, okay? So I'm going to do this, but I need to get my stripes on it first, and then I'll be doing the DSP on it. So I have already cut the paper, and I'll explain what I did. So I had the whole 6x6 ombre sheet, and this piece, as I already showed you, is 5 by 3 3/4. So I knew I needed my stripes to be 3 3/4 inches. And I decided the width of them by looking at what my paper was, by looking at how much of a statement I wanted behind them. I could have made them wider, but I liked the skinny strip there. So those are 1/2 inch. So I've got these 1/2 inch pieces by 3 3/4. And I'm going to set this piece aside. But I want to kind of get them laid back down in the ombre fashion. So the gradient. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips on there. So probably about like that. Wait a minute. Yeah. There we go. Do I like that? I like this one better. There. There, that's a nice ombre effect. So in the same way that I got 2 cards out of this one, same with this. The back side of this is the Bermuda Bay that I used on here. So see? Again, it's not that I don't have lots of paper and I can't afford to waste paper, but it just, I don't know, it makes me feel better to get that going and get the most use out of it. So now to line things up, that's always the tricky part, right? Let's see. I'm going to try to move my camera so you can see my camera. Well, really, it's my phone. I'm going to try to move my phone, so bear with me as I move that and recheck it. Because I want to use my grid paper to help me line things up. Yeah, there. It looks like that worked. I am going to
use my grid paper. This I know is 5 inches, so 2.5 is going to be the middle of this. I've got 5 pieces, a 1/2 inch, and so I know that if I start in the middle, I can put it at 2.5, and I'll be right in the middle. I did use liquid glue on all of these. You could use a tape runner for those that prefer. I like my my liquid glue. So I can use the lines to help me line things up straight. Since this is a 1/2 inch wide, I can go 2 of these squares on my grid paper is a 1/2 inch, so I know I'm right in the middle there. Now I'll work my way down this way next. And I'm going to go a 1/2 inch. So 1, 2, 1/2 inch away. And 2 squares again, and I know I'm, whoops, and with that liquid glue, I can kind of scoochy it a bit if I don't get it quite lined up like I like. There we go. And the next one. This is probably the most time-consuming part of the whole thing for you guys, so hopefully you don't mind watching me as I lay these out. But down, I jump a 1/2 inch again. Use those squares again to help me line things up. There. And this is just washi tape I used to hold it down here on the grid paper. I'm going to put a little piece over here now until I get to that point. Okay, next one. Okay. There we go. And last one. There we go. Let that dry for a sec. While that dries for just a sec, I think I'm going to show you how I use my, talk about the white craft ink and stamp this heart so that it has just a little minute to dry, because the craft ink is a real thick ink and it will smear if you try to use it immediately after stamping. So we're going to let that dry for a minute. We'll stamp this and then we'll go back to that with my washi tape. So one of those pieces that is left over, I'm actually going to use that to stamp my heart, I think. Yeah, I think my, is it going to fit though? Yeah, I think it will fit. Okay, so I wanted to tell you about the craft ink, the Whisper White. I wonder if they'll change the name of this, since we've changed the name of our cardstocks from Whisper White to Basic White. Wonder if they'll change our ink to match that. Probably, I guess. So anyway, if you ever buy a Whisper White ink pad, it comes non-inked. This pad would be ink when you bought it brand new, or would be dry when you bought it brand new. And with the ink pad comes a bottle like our re-inkers, but this is the pigment ink, the Whisper White pigment ink. It's really, really thick. Usually if you use a re-inker to ink up one of your pads, this stuff is runny. You can hear it. It's, you just drops out. This stuff is super thick. And the reason I had it in a baggie is to keep this from drying out. Because of it being so thick and stuff, and you don't use it often, I keep it stored in a Ziploc bag. And then it keeps it a little fresher longer. So it's super thick. It's real spongy, the pad itself. It's not a foam pad like our regular ink pads. It's this real spongy, and it's almost chalky looking. So I'm going to ink up. And you really have to pat a lot and check it and make sure that you don't see some of the stamp through the ink. You want to make sure it's really well coated. See how that is really well coated now? I'm sorry. I should have moved this back this way a little bit after I did all that lining up down here. Let's see if we get back to where things are in view better now, since I moved the camera. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. So, there you go. I'm going to do it just a little bit more and make sure this is really fully coated in white. And then I'm going to line her up on here and stamp it. And this is a photopolymer set, so I am using a spongy pad underneath. Give it a second and really push it. And if I don't like it, I'll redo it, because that ink is just very different than what we're used to using. No, it did pretty good. Yeah, there we go. Now it is a lighter color. If you wanted it to be a more bold white, which I considered doing for this, what you could do is heat emboss it with white embossing powder, and that would make it even more bold. But I like the idea that it kind of melds into the paper that way, and it's more subtle. So, in fact, hold on, hold the phone. Let's do it on some cardstock, and then we'll choose which one we like better. Let me grab a piece of Rococo Rose. We'll do it on there too, and then we'll choose which one, like I said, we like better at the end. So let's open that back up and re-ink that stamp. Okay, we'll do this here. We might like it better on the Rococo Rose because it does behave differently. Ink always behaves differently on cardstock versus designer series paper, which is more thin, and cardstock being more thick, of course. That does look a little more bold, doesn't it? A little more white. So we'll see when it dries which one we like better. I'm thinking we might want the one on the cardstock. I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. Go back to this now. Now, because we laid those strips out, the neat thing is I can turn it over, and if my strips overhung at all and I don't like that, I can just take my scissors and butt them up to the edge and trim off any overhang. And there's just a tiniest bit. There we go. Not much. Okay. All right, let's go back to the card base. So the way I did it on the example is I've got dark to light, so I would go like so, and this part is flat down on there. Let's do that. And you can use, actually I'll use my tape runner, I guess. You can use tape runner or liquid glue for this piece. And then center it up. Try to get an equal amount of cardstock above and below and left and right. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now the DSP, I did pop that up with dimensionals. So I'm going to put some of those on the back. And I used quite a few because DSP isn't as thick as cardstock, and so it could get a bit saggy in the middle, whereas cardstock will tend to hold its shape a little bit better. So I used a few more than I might normally. But you get like 300 of these dimensionals in a pack, so there's no reason to be stingy. And they're $4, I mean, for that many, whoopie-doo. Feel free to use lots. We don't like saggy chests, and we don't like saggy cards, right? Okay, now, one thing, this is very rare for me. I did not use any ribbon on this card, as you'll see. I really considered it. I kept wrapping ribbon in different places on it. And I was like, you know what? It's just too busy. It's too much, that ribbon. So now the tough part here is deciding, do I want the more light ombre side over here where the darker is, and the darker side over here? And I think I do. That's what I did on this one. Or do I like it where the darker matches darker and lighter matches lighter? So I'm going to look. Nope, I'm going to, the same way I did with this one. I like the contrast. Oops, that's a little bit crooked. I think that looks better. There we go. Okay, there. Now, this is almost dry, the heart. And I think I really am definitely liking the heart better on the cardstock versus the DSP. This is just too light for me, so I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to give it just another minute to dry while I finish up doing the sentiment. So here I cut a piece of Whisper White. I still have 3 packs of Whisper White, I think, over there to use. But before I get to the basic white, which is our new white color, They're both very similar. It's just the company that made Whisper White got closed because of COVID stuff, and so they found a new vendor. And anyway, long story short, it's called Basic White now. And I've got to grab my Rococo Rose ink. I left it sitting over here. Sorry about that, guys. Thought I had everything pulled together, but forgot the ink, which is kind of important. So, what did I say? This paper is cut 2.5, 2 3/4 by 1 1/4 wide. And I've taken the sentiment from here that says, "From my heart to yours." And let's stamp that up. And get my thing back here, my pad. And I went pretty far on the left. Or on the right. I said left, I mean right. Went pretty far on the right. Okay. Let's see if I use my tailored tag punch now. I told you guys about it before. To just fishtail that end a little bit. So the way you do it is, I'm looking at this angle. So feed this through. And try to get this part in the middle of this width, and then come up and back it up till this corner and this corner are about equal, and then give it a punch. And you can look at this piece and say, yeah, it looks pretty well, so I think this is going to be fine. Yep. Now we'll use our punches on the hearts. So the one that I stamped, I'm going to use the regular heart one, not the scalloped, even though this is scalloped around there. And I could sure line this up with the scallops and do it, but I want the white layer behind it so that it pops up off of this colored DSP. So that's why I'm using the regular heart, and then I'll cut a scallop heart out in white. So let me center this. And then here's a scrap of white to do my scallop heart. And then I can layer this on here with my liquid glue. Good old Tombow. Ooh, I got too much there, didn't I? Woo! I'm gonna wipe a little bit of that off so that it doesn't goosh out too much. And center that on my scallop white layer. There we go. And I could pop this up on here. I've already popped that one. Maybe on this one I will pop it up, but first I want to adhere this to it. So I'm going to take my tape runner and just do a little bit of tape on this side. And then center this on here. Push it down. Let me get things lined up on the grid paper so I'm at least attempting to be straight and not cockeyed. Yeah, this time I will pop this layer up and see which I prefer, if I like it flat or layered. Ooh, he got away from me. I think one more in the middle there. That's a lot of dimensionals, isn't it? Oh well. As I said, that's probably the cheapest thing on my whole card, so why should I chintz on that part, huh? Okay. Now, make sure I'm not upside down. I always warn you guys that. Check it out. And let's see where we're going to center that in there. I'm going to move it over just a little bit to that side. There. Oh, I do like it popped up. I wish I'd popped that one, but I love that color so, so much. So I thought about a little twine heart bow over here. That might be pretty. I just was afraid of getting too far, especially because I thought this one especially might be good for a guy. I don't know if the Rococo Rose works so well for a guy or not, but certainly From My Heart to Yours could be a mother, a sister, an aunt, a daughter, Could be for anyone. It doesn't have to be a spouse. And then I'm going to real quick do the inside layer. So a lot of times on the inside we do 4 by 5 1/4, but this one is 3 3/4 by 5 because I wanted to repeat the size of this white layer out here on the inside of the card. And then I stamped it from this set. I used this dotted outline heart, and then I used this little kind of, would you call that a filigree heart? I don't know. Those, it's hard to see, but those are little hearts within that lacy look. Isn't that kind of clever? Kind of cool? Anyway, I put my Rococo Rose away, but I'll need it out for this now. So let's do that dotted heart. Get my pad back out. Oh, I might not have held that under the camera right. I just glanced over there and it looked like it was wonky. Oh well. There's that. And here's this. Since it's photopolymer, I can look through and center pretty well. Doesn't mean I can't still get it crooked, but have a better chance of not getting it crooked. There's that. Earlier when I was playing with all this and designing this one, I did a couple of the hearts, that same stamp with the white pigment ink on the matching cardstock to put on the envelope. So that's what that one is. And then I just fussy cut this. There's not a punch that matches this one, so I just hand cut that one. So anyway, I'm almost done here. Layer for the inside. Again, checking that if this side and this side and this are all about the same, then this one should be the same too. Okay, so there it is. I really considered sprinkling some rhinestones, but there's just a lot going on already, I thought, so wasn't sure. I'm going to pop this on the back of the envelope. I think last time I did a live, maybe I showed you guys how to use designer series paper on the back flap of the envelope. This time I just put the heart on there. There. And that's that card. And here is this one. So, I don't know. You guys tell me which color you like best. I always love Bermuda Bay, so I'm going to love this one. But I do like Rococo Rose. That color goes away in June. That color it's an in color now, but it is on its last legs. It'll be leaving us in June. And it's a lovely rose color. I do like that. I just am always drawn to Bermuda Bay, so. Make it a dangly bow made of twine. Yes, yes, my baker's twine. That's what I had thought about, dear. I saw Autumn's post or statement right there. I even had, where'd it go? Over here I had a twine bow. Like, I used some twine on this one. Oh, here's a little sneak peek. Look at this cute little strawberry container I made for our bingo next Friday night. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to love that. Anyway, yep, I had thought about a little, don't know where it went. If you could see my table right now, you'd be like, yeah, she's got a lot of stuff going on here. Here's a white bow, but it's a bit bigger. I don't know. I had them somewhere. And then this is pretty too. This is but I didn't like that color with it as well. Anyway, that's the cards. What colors? Let's see. Love the Rose, Sharon. Bermuda Bay for Nancy. Never mind. Oh, what a great idea. I'll have to do this. Oh, Anne, do you have this ombre paper? If you do, yep. Oh, and that's why I'm glad you said something. I was going to mention that you don't have to make it for Valentine's Day. You can repeat this pattern, and over here you could put a couple, if you have the balloon builder punch, you could do a couple balloons with some twine hanging down, and it could be happy birthday. You could do a couple flower punches, like the daisy punch or the 3-petal perennial, what's that called? Perennial essence bloom you could do. You could even change the orientation and go this way and put a couple items over here in the sentiment. So doesn't have to be a heart one. I just like that idea of that ombre stripes behind there, and the monochromatic look, you know. That's always a fun and classic look. So there we go. So whoever's name I get told when you've liked and shared it. Can choose which one of those two colors they like. And yeah, this isn't bad. I just, yeah, that didn't. And see, this ink, you do have to be careful. Like, I can still feel that that's a bit wet as I rub across there. So just be aware of that if you buy this craft ink. But it's a pretty look. It's really gives you a different gradation of color. You know, you've got the ombre, which already does that, but then that craft ink does that too. I think it's called craft ink. Pigment ink. Sorry, pigment ink. So, oh, I should show you just for the heck of it real quick, and then I'll leave you be. When you go to refill this, I'll let you see how thick this stuff is, because I wouldn't want you to get it and then think, oh man, are you kidding me? She didn't tell me that. So it is, I don't know, let me hold it up here so you can see it as it comes out. It's like, look at that, how it hardly drips. It's like super thick stuff, and it does not soak into the pad. So then what you do, I hope that was in the camera. Yeah, I can see it up there now, the delay. Then I always have a spoon, a plastic spoon on my desk. When I do re-inking, I always use this to put in. But one time I heard it described as like you're frosting a cake. You smooth it and rub it. And make sure you go, you know, both ways. And the back of your spoon is going to get coated. But then you just have your chamois thingy and wipe it all off. So that's how you ink your white CAD. And as I said, I always store it in a Ziploc baggie, sealed shut. And then I have the re-inker up with my other re-inkers. That's how that stuff works. Do any of you guys here have? I know Kathy has this ink because initially I didn't want one and she wanted one and brought mine, and then I ended up replacing it because I decided I did want one. Any of the rest of you guys have that ink? Oh, Autumn, thanks for joining us, by the way. Hello, hello. How are you? Debbie, like them both. The rose one a bit more. Oh, yep. Like them both. Mary Judd. Oh, Mary, you have the white. Okay. The white ink. Yep. It's a whole different look and a different kind of ink, but I wish I used it more. I don't often remember to use it, and so I'm going to have to try to remember to use it a little more often for things, but it's a fun thing. So anyway, oh, and if any of you, of course, are so inclined that you want to take advantage of Celebration before it ends the end of February, here is my host code that if you use this when you place any orders, I can reward you with even more special gifts from me. I like to do that if you place orders. I at least give you a thank you card if it's a small order, and if it's a bigger order. If it's big enough to get a Celebration item, honey, you're going to get that, and then you'll get a gift from me as well. Either some ribbon or embellishment or something nice. Remember, this is the Celebration catalog that's got all the different things in it. So there's that. If you don't have catalogs, let me know and I can get you one. I think most of the people I've seen on here tonight, though, you already have catalogs and things, but if anybody, if I've missed you and you don't have one, and of course you can shop online with me too, at Penny for Your Crafts on my blog page. I always post the shop with me, like on the description of this video, I'll put the link to shop with me if you should feel like you want to. Nancy says, do you think the white ink is easier or better than embossing in white? It is easier. It's a more subtle look, but certainly heat embossing is always a very dramatic look, but it is more involved. It takes a little bit more effort. You have to have the heat gun. You have to have the Versamark ink pad, you know, and I never heat emboss without my little embossing buddy to take the static off. And yeah, it's just a bit more involved process. So for a lot of people, the idea of using the white ink is pretty simple. You know, you don't have to buy all those extra things. You just buy the white ink, you know. So, but I do like the effect of the heat embossing. So it's just a little different. Something I have not used at all yet with you guys, either in a class or an event, and I haven't done it on Facebook Live, is the embossing paste. I did buy that and the matte, what do you call them? The overlay kind of things. I bought the embossing paste, the spatulas, the overlays. I just have not gotten around to doing that yet, but that's something else entirely. So that might be on my agenda one of these days. But I know it's a little bit late to be thinking about Valentine's Day. It's coming up pretty soon. But some of you already have this ombre paper. And as I've said, there's lots of different ways you can take this whole idea but convert it to a birthday card, a thinking of you card, even a sympathy card. You know, if you used a heart or a flower and used one of our sympathy sayings, that would be pretty. Bermuda Bay for Anne. Yep. Let's see, new comments. Tonight I'm able to scroll through those, so Anne doesn't have the white. It is a different thing, Anne, for sure. Is there a cost for the catalog? I am curious on the cost of shipping to California. Oh, Pauline, you're a dear friend of mine. I would be happy to send you a catalog. But yes, you can check out the catalogs online as well. And shipping for Stampin' Up! Is $6.99, or if your order gets over $70, then it's 10% of your order. So that's what the shipping costs are, unless you buy expedited shipping, which most people never do. But yeah, no, that's what shipping is. But I'd be happy to send you catalogs, Pauline. But you can look at them all online too, and that's pretty fast and quick. It's just stampinup.com. So anyway, thanks guys for joining me tonight. Next Friday night, we won't do a Facebook Live because guess what? We've got bingo. We will be live with the people who are playing bingo. And I've been working on our bingo things. Like I gave you that sneak peek of a little container, a little cute box that we're doing with the strawberries. I've got 2 cards that were well, the one card is a case card. The other card I did is my own design, and it's a fun fold. And then the third card I'm working on this weekend. Yeah, it's all getting pulled together. The order just arrived today that has everybody's stuff in it, so I need to unbox it and start divvying out the stamp sets and all of the things that we will use for the prizes, everything we will be using. So I was glad it came. I did pay for expedited shipping. I always do that because I don't want to wait and not have those things and have our event come and have to postpone it or something. So I was glad it all came, and it's here, and so we are good. A couple people I need to mail theirs to them because they are out of state, or out of the town anyway. We've got Jill from Omaha's playing, and Babe lives in, let me think, she lives in a different state. Gosh, right now off the top of my head I can't even think what state she lives in. She's playing with us this time, but we've got a good group playing. We'll have fun. Oh, what I haven't done yet, I got to do that. Got to buy the M&Ms. I've got a few M&M bags. I've got 2 bags of M&Ms over there, but I don't think there'll be enough for all of us because there's a good group of us doing it. So anyway, thanks guys for joining me tonight. I don't think I see any questions. Pauline, yes. Oh, absolutely, Pauline. And here's one thing. Why you want a catalog, and why if you private message me your address, I'll send you a catalog. Because here's why you want it. Online, you can see the products and you see a picture or 2 of something to do. But in the catalog, you get all these ideas. Like here's that heart set I just used with the heart punches. And they show you how you can step up a card. You can make a simple card, take it a little bit higher, take it more high level. Over here, this is one of my favorite sets. You guys know this. I love So Sentimental, the dies and the stamps. They give you all kinds of ideas on things to make with them. And so when you don't have the catalog, you miss all of those great ideas, I feel like. So, yeah, you want one of these babies. Look at that. Lots of great ideas. So, anyway, thanks for joining, guys. What y'all watching tonight? I'm going to go see what's on TV. and give myself a few minutes of TV show, and then I've got to get back in here and get back to work on the next project. So, drawing. Thank you. Reminder for drawing. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, thank you. I thought drawing, yes. Yes, as soon as I'm off here. Well, no, because I've got to look and see if there was anybody else. I've got my list here of everybody who shared last week, but there may have been somebody who shared in the last 2 days since I checked. So I need to check for their names, and then I will draw, and then I will post it. So I will post whoever is the winner and get that item out to you. And Debbie, if you're around this weekend, I'll drop off the couple things that I have for you. And Hallmark for Mary. Good. Oh, yeah. Is there a new movie on tonight on Hallmark? Might have to check that out, too. So, anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate the likes and the shares. Right now, it only says I've got 1 share, but sometimes it doesn't keep up with the numbers. So, if you haven't shared yet and you want one of these cards, you'd have a pretty good chance of winning if there's only 1 share so far, huh? So, anyway, thanks again. Take care, guys. See you later. See you bingo players next Friday. Get ready. Have your lucky rabbit's foot. What else is lucky? I don't know. 4-leaf clover. Be ready. So, talk to you later.